Okay, our tiers have been made. This is our basic practitioners ranking. So, thank you Google Chrome notifications. Don't care. All right, Super Mario Brothers, the first one. We played the All Stars version. Uh, we are going. You'll see, Gil. But we gotta get there first, and to get there, we have to go in order. So, Super Mario Brothers 1. This one is kind of hard because I did enjoy it, but it is very jank. It's hard to recommend this one because this game is sort of like the beginning, but not in a way that makes it a game that I would want to go back to a lot. So even though I had a lot of fun streaming it, I have to be really I have to like make sure that when I make this is in the context of like how I truly feel about going back to a game or playing it again, and how I felt when I played it on the stream. And I think I'm gonna put it in B. I think Mario Brothers 1 is the definition of a B game. It's good. I think it's an extremely important video game. But I think in the context of other Mario games, it's Mario Run is here. I'm gonna say it's a B. Oh, I gotta change the colors. That's what was wrong with this. Blue. There we go. Oh, that makes it too hard to see. There. So, next up, Japanese Mario 2. You all know where this is going. No. That is the absolute, probably the worst game I've played this marathon. Could not recommend this at all. Think of it as, it does everything Mario 1 does, but mostly worse. Outside of bounce physics and a playable Luigi, there's not much redeemable about this game. F might be a little too hard on it, though. I think I'm just going to delete the F tier and put it in E. It's not a failing. It doesn't fail, but it does not succeed at all much either. Mario Brothers 2! I had a lot of fun with this game, even though the World 7 was a motherfucker. That's just how it be, I guess. I'm going to put Mario 2 in A tier. This is an A tier game. Mario 2 is excellent. Love Mario 2. Super fun game. Character variety is awesome. Game balance is good generally. All the characters are pretty useful in different areas. You can play as one character and beat the game pretty comfortably. It's pretty good, I would say. This shouldn't even be here. I'm going to leave it off. Mario Brothers 3. Obviously. This is my favorite video game ever made. Do I have to explain why I'm putting this one here? I love Mario 3. This game's incredible. This is the golden standard for Mario 3. For Mario games, rather. Mario 3 basically set the direction of the Mario franchise going forward. Like, everything Mario 3 did would influence all of these games. So basically, I consider it extremely important and the best. Not a question in my heart. Phenomenal game. I was so happy to play it again for the stream. Probably my favorite game to stream through. Mario 3 is awesome. Play Mario 3. If there's anything you could take from this, I would say play Mario 3. Alright, next up, Super Mario Land. Again, I have to say that in spite of a game's importance, I have to rank it based on what I thought of it when I played it. It's going in C. It's a high C to me. Mario Land 1 is really interesting. It's got a really, really crazy setting. It's got really good music. Mario Land's music is super catchy and awesome. It's got pretty interesting ideas, and it's got really cool variety in like its level stuff, like the shooter sections. The boss fights are all pretty neat. But it's only 4 worlds long. It's really short. The level design is kind of sus in a lot of spots. There's lots of like invisible block stupidity in this game. A lot of it. The controls are really bizarre. Mario doesn't handle right in this game. He feels very, very wrong in Mario Land. Like, he doesn't feel right to control in Mario Land 1. And that impacts, like, a lot of stuff. I think the Fire Flower in Mario Land is also lame as shit. The Super Ball, really funny, but really lame. I don't think it's very fun to use, and I don't think it's even useful against enemies. Because it bounces up off the ground and then travels so high up that it's never going to hit anything except if it's above you. So it's like a shitty hammer suit that can grab coins. So, like, yeah, Mario Land 1 doesn't have much power-ups either, especially if you're coming from any of the Mario games you've played before Mario 1. But I think Mario Land, in spite of me putting it here, I think it's a really important game. And I think I respect its significance as the first handheld Mario game on the Game Boy, and for what it led to, which we'll get to in a second. Mario World! This is a really easy choice. A+. I might even move it up. Honestly, I'm probably going to do this. This is ordered, so I still think Mario 3 is better. But Mario World. What do I got to say about Mario World? Awesome game. It feels like, in many ways, a step down from Mario 3 in a few ways, but I think in a lot of ways, it's better in its own right. It does a lot of things unique to it from Mario 3 that I think make it almost as excellent, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people would say it's better. And that's totally fair. Mario World's got a huge world map that's really nicely laid out and fun to explore and discover stuff in. It's got good level design that you can break pretty hard. It's got fun power-ups. The cape is iconic. The cape is such a big part of Mario now, too. If you played Smash Brothers, Mario has that cape. That's still a thing. Cape feather, excellent. The music in Mario World is so cool. I love the Mario World soundtrack a lot. I love that it's all like a rendition of one song, but it's remixed to sound super different. And it's got like all this stuff going on with the music that's really cool. The castle theme is awesome. The Koopa Kid boss fights are all pretty unique and diverse, although there's a few that are the same between each other. But they're still pretty cool for the time. And compared to Mario 3, the Koopa Kids are a lot more interesting to fight, even if they're easier in Mario World, I'd think. Bowser World is cool, especially with how you weave in and out of it throughout the game. In general, I feel like it doesn't repeat too much from Mario 3, so it's still a very unique game, even though it's very clear they had more intended for it. It kind of got rushed, Mario World, a little bit to meet like launch date stuff, but I think overall, Mario World is amazing. Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins. A+. Super good game. This game, I think underappreciated is a bit strong, because I think a lot of people appreciate this game a lot, but I think it's one of the best 2D Mario games. I think it's super great. It's aged remarkably well, and the hack that gives it color, the Game Boy Color upgrade hack for it, is absolutely beautiful. So overall, that one's definitely an easy A+. The level design's good. The variety in Mario Land 2, I think, is the best of the 2D Mario games. Like, in terms of just sheer variety and new stuff and creative, like, set pieces, just from a visual perspective alone, Mario Land 2 blows it out the water. It's got such a unique aesthetic that I think it's worth playing on that merit alone. Like, I could justify playing Mario Land 2 just for how it looked, whether you're playing the color version or not. Like, it's just a good game. Very creative, it's bursting with life and energy. Music is really catchy despite being pretty simple and not a whole lot of unique songs in the game. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of Mario World with the way its music is super catchy and kind of repetitive, but it never wears on you in that way. Well, Yoshi's Island we're not counting. It's just on this tier list thing. I didn't want to make my own. It's here. I'm not going to put it on the list, don't worry. All right. New Super Mario Brothers. Where does this game go? Controversially, I'm going to put it somewhere where a lot of people would not want me to put it. And that's right here. New Super Mario Brothers is a game that I think is pretty cool. But I definitely did not... I didn't have a lot of fun with it. And I don't know if it was just the way I was playing, or if it was just the way the game was. But goddamn, I did not have a lot of fun with it. I think it has a lot of cool things, and it brings in a lot of neat stuff from other Mario games. Like a lot of Mario 64 references, which I think is very cool. But I think, like, the way the game feels, and, like, the stuff it wants you to do, like, worlds is really annoying. I think the mini mushroom sucks, and they push it. They push that power-up in this game. You need it for a number of things. Including, you need it to access 2 worlds. That's so irritating. You can't play, like, 2 worlds in the game without using the shittiest power-up in the franchise. Which I guess I have to talk about. This game introduced that to the 2D Mario games. The mini mushroom. Garbage. Trash. Terrible. It's like a war crime, that power-up. Absolutely would not recommend using it. But you have to get to worlds, what is it, 4 and 6? Oh, that too. Yeah, you gotta get it from another area and then take it there, which is annoying in its own right. The boss fights are neat. They're a bit easy, but they're pretty cool. It's neat that you start with Bowser and then you fight him all the way at the end of the game after that. I thought that was pretty cool. You kick Bowser's ass at the start, and then the rest of the game is dealing with Bowser Jr. instead. The Mega Mushroom is kind of cool, but I don't like that the Mega Mushroom gets rid of the power-up you have when you get it. So if you have a Fire Flower, and you get a Mega Mushroom, you lose the Fire Flower, and the Mega Mushroom can also just destroy stuff that you need to find star coins, like pipes and shit. So I don't know. The music is quite good in this game, though. I think the soundtrack is probably the best part about it. Outside of, like, the cool stuff it introduces, like new enemies and new level concepts. I will say, of all the new Super Mario Brothers games, this one's the most new. And I think it had novelty when it first came out, I agree. I think it had notable novelty when it first launched. But, that's what I think of it overall. So, new Super Mario Brothers Wii. Okay, I'm gonna put you right here. Actually, no, I think right here. Good game. This was solidly enjoyable. It's kind of it's basically everything about New Super Mario Brothers, but more polished, with multiplayer added on top. It's what else do I have to say about it, really? It's kind of hard to explain it. It brought back the Koopa Kids. The music was quite good in this game. I like that all the overworlds have different songs. That's always really cool to me. I like that. What else? The visuals are good for a Wii game, although the art style is petering. The levels are pretty fine. I think the level design's quite alright. There are a few gimmicks I don't like in this game. More than a few, probably. The wind is kind of annoying. I don't like the sand pillar level. What else? I don't really think of much else. I don't like the instant kill smoke in World 8, but that shows up in the Wii U game too, so... Lord knows. But overall, I had quite a good time with it. The final boss is really cool. This is a good game. If I had to recommend the new Super Mario Brothers game, this would be one of them. And of course, I can't understate the multiplayer aspect of the game. I think I'm going to move Mario 2 up to here. I can't understate the multiplayer design of the game and like the cool stuff that has with it. Yoshi came back in this game, that's neat, but he's kind of watered down. Like when Yoshi swallows a Koopa shell that's red, he doesn't shoot fireballs anymore. I think that's kind of lame. The ice flower was introduced in this game. The power-ups that they introduced are pretty fun. I think the propeller suit kind of sucks. Like, the propeller suit is, like, really broken, but I feel like actually using it, it doesn't have a good flow to it. You kind of just descend really slow, but you go up really fast, so it's both incredibly broken and also not fun to play with. Outside of strictly vertical levels. The penguin suit is awesome, though. Kind of sad that one didn't show up in the Wii U one until the post-game lay stuff. Oh yeah, the motion controls. Can't ignore that, too. This game does have that. You have to shake the Wii Remote to spin, and that has a bit of a delay to it because of input latency regarding motion reading. Something that the Wii U game would fix. So yeah, that's it for that. That's pretty much where I'd put that game. New Super Mario Bros. 2 is next. D tier. This is not Lost Levels. I'll absolutely say that it is not Lost Levels. So if you are going to play a Mario game, you can play this one. You can play this. But would you want to? I don't agree with that. I think this game is better than Mario 2 because it didn't make me want to quit playing it. At least not for the reasons Mario 2 did. If people can tolerate this game's general lack of polish, I think it's still more enjoyable than Mario 2. I saw, but it don't matter to me. I think this goes right here. Squarely above Mario 2, but not much better. I guess I should explain this one. This game's level design is coin-centric. Coin-centric. Oh, that's a follow. Timothy's... I can't even read that whole name. Thank you for the follow. Oh wait, that notif actually showed up, didn't it? Cool. But to explain this game and why I ranked it here, the level design is, to put it lightly, really bland. It's focused on getting coins, but the problem is this game's entire gimmick is coins, but there's no meaningful way to translate that to anything but lives. And that means you're just bursting with lives in levels that are very easy and don't challenge you at all. So the point of grabbing coins in this game becomes diluted. There is no point to it. There's nothing you can do with them besides getting lives. But levels are built around maximizing coin collection. So this game feels really at odds with itself already, with that gimmick. But then you kind of couple that with some other stuff this game does, like nothing interesting. Because this game feels a lot like New Super Mario Bros. 1, with even less going on, but with more coins in it. The music is all taken from the other New Super Mario Bros. Games. But they made every single song worse. Every song in the soundtrack is worse than the song it took from. All of them. Every single one of them is abjectly worse. Abjectly. Not even like a little bit worse, notably worse. Notably. And that's a really big issue because the music in the other games was fine. Why would they do that? Why would they take like the best castle theme in the series from these games? Like, of all these games, New Super Mario Bros. DS has my favorite castle theme. They took that in this game and they made it suck. And that blows my mind. The ghost house isn't even safe in this game. The power-ups in this game are lame, because all you've got is a fire flower, the gold coin flower, which just contributes more to the problem this game has, and the raccoon suit. And the raccoon suit is great, but Mario 3 had, like, the raccoon suit and a bunch of other shit. This game has the raccoon suit and a flower. That's it. And if you're coming from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where you had, like, at least 5 different power-ups that were all pretty good, only having 2 now feels kind of weak. On top of all of this, the level design, as I said, is kind of boring, but it's also really easy, and a lot of it you can just play by accident. I recall that one level that I flew over an entire stage by bouncing off a Koopa and hovering and holding forward. But I didn't even know I was flying over the stage. I thought I fell down a pit. But no, that was actually just completing a level. That shit blew my mind. I could not believe that. Like, this game just feels unfocused. The final boss fight is lame. It's just an auto-scroller where Bowser kind of does stuff sometimes. And on top of that, the fight with Bowser before that is just the same as it was the last two games. Except easier. All the Koopa kids are basically the same as they were in the Wii game. Sometimes nerfed. Other times maybe slightly harder, but barely different. This game is just boring. Really boring. Like, more boring than the other New Super Mario Bros. Games, comparatively speaking. Like, if you had hang-ups with the aesthetic, like, if you had an issue with the New Super Mario Bros. Aesthetic, I would say you could even argue this game is worse than Mario 2 in Japan if, and only if, you hate the New Super Mario Bros. Aesthetic. Like, if you do not like the aesthetic at all, I could see merit to somebody putting this game worse than Mario 2 Lost Levels. But otherwise, no. But this game does absolutely nothing for the people that don't like this aesthetic. In fact, it justifies it. This game justifies the shit out of every single complaint this franchise gets. This game is basically endemic of all of it. It was a slog for me to get through this game. I don't even think it's, like, terrible. But I think if you asked me to play a Mario game, this would probably be the last one, next to Lost Levels, that would come in my mind for something I'd want to play. And that's unfortunate, because this was the 3DS's 2D Mario game. And it was this. And this came out after Mario 3D Land, which a lot of people liked at the time when it came out. So it was like... I don't even know. Just play Donkey Kong Country Donkey Kong Country Returns 3DS. Play that game. If you want like a 2D platformer on your 3DS that's pretty good, it isn't like a re-release, or rather isn't an old game like a Virtual Console game or something, you can play that. I'm sure there's other 2D platformers on the 3DS that are really, really great. But, not much to say about that. And now we're at the final game. The last game I'm going to tier of the night. And that is New Super Mario Bros. U. And I'm going to put it right here. This is a good game. This is probably the best of the New Super Mario Bros. Games, I would say. Of the New Super Mario Bros. Games, if somebody said, which one would you replay? This would be the one. I think more than the Wii one, even. I guess I could... It's probably a little easier to summarize it since I just beat it. Level design is probably the best it's been so far. I can only think of a few instances where I was really bothered. And a lot of what ticked me off about this game was secret exits and certain star coins. But that's very minor and only matters if you're going for 100%. So I don't consider that a huge black mark on it. The level design is really solid. The power-up variety is okay. I think variety-wise, the power-up selection is worse than the Wii game. But I think that it does more with what they have here. And in general, it feels like they split the power-ups amongst the levels a lot better. So it kind of evens itself out. And you can unlock the Wii power-ups in the post-game. So it's not all bad. Oh, what else? They made the spin a button input, which is a big deal. The motion controls are gone in this game. That is a huge, well, not completely gone. Like, there are still tilt things with controller gyros. But by and large, stuff like spinning around in this game and doing the air spin, which is awesome to keep momentum and make jumps a little easier, that's all done with the button press now. And that makes a huge improvement to the controls. Oh, that's another thing New Super Mario Bros. 2 doesn't have. It got rid of the spin mechanic. For no reason. They got rid of like the best thing that New Super Mario Bros. Wii did mechanically for no reason. They just got rid of the spin. Can't even think of why they would do that. Just another thing to talk about, I guess. But yeah, anyways, back to Mario Bros. U. The spin is much easier to do. Granted, I was playing on Dolphin, so I had button press, but I'm going to assume for clarity's sake that people are playing this on original hardware. Just devil's advocate and all. I think that having the spin mapped to a button was a substantial control improvement. That is a significantly big control improvement over the Wii game. And it bleeds over into basically everything else about this game. Level design better, lighting better, visuals better, music better, for the most part. Sound design better. Koopa Kid boss fights better, even though they're still really easy and you can sort of skip most of the crazy stuff they do. Those are all better. Presentation better. But I do think I have to mention that at this point in the New Super Mario Bros. Franchise, a lot of people didn't play this game, or rather, not didn't play it, but a lot of people said this is uninteresting. And I don't think they're wrong, but I think that they wouldn't be saying it if we didn't have 3 other games. I think if we only had, like, 1, 2, and 3, and not 4, I think the commentary would have been different. But I still feel like the biggest problem this game has, and the reason it's not up here, it's not an A+, because it's still very similar to the game it's better than, right here. A lot of things that New Super Mario Bros. U does, this game does too. And while it does do it worse, it's definitely not as novel the second time around. But I feel like if New Super Mario Bros. U had consistently done as much as it did with Worlds 3, 4, 5, and 6 through the rest of the game, I think I would probably have put it in A+. Maybe like below Mario 2 or above Mario 2. But where I have it right now is about where I feel it belongs, because I feel like it is absolutely held back by the fact that it just didn't do enough different from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. In the grand scheme of things, it is still a very similar game. Level, like, not level design, but level theming, very identical. Level structure is different, but like the way you go from world to world in this game is still similar to the Wii game. The world themes all line up the same way. When I compare New Super Mario Bros. DS to the Wii game, they changed the order of the world themes a bit. Not a lot, but a bit. Enough to notice. But when I go Wii to Wii U, it feels like it's just a marginal improvement, right? In terms of like world theming. You get some like world themes that are just crazy different. And then you get like, it's just the jungle world again, but with ghosts, which is really cool, but it's still in the same spot it was before. Desert world is still world 2. Water world is still world 3. Snow world is still world 4. World 6 is still the mountain world. World 7 is still the sky world. World 8 is unbelievably still a fucking lava world, and it's 4 games in now. 4 games in. And that's probably where people have this problem. You're 4 games in, but we can predict the way the game is going to go. And when your game is predictable, people don't get invested in seeing what comes next. Because you know what's coming next. It's going to be a lava world. It's going to be this. And you're not wrong. And that's part of what kills it for me. Or not kills it, but it definitely reins it in. Bowser takes over Peach's castle. This should be cool. This should be awesome. This should be like World 1 but evil. But it looks the same as World 8 in the other games. Peach's castle just looks like Bowser's castle. Like, why? You had like this idea, and that's this whole game, is that you had these ideas that are really creative, but they're just not fleshed out. They're just not fleshed out on an aesthetic level. And unfortunately, we've come around to the point, well, not unfortunately, I should clarify. Unfortunately for this game, we are at the point where aesthetics are extremely important, because those carry your game. That's presentation. That's things that people are going to be seeing all the time when they're playing your game. Gameplay is a concept that is tangibly, like, not something you can see in the way that you can see aesthetics, in the way you're drawn in through sound design and visual design. Gameplay hooks you in, but that visual design is what keeps you interested. That's what keeps you looking at the game and being like, what's it going to do next? How is it going to do this next? And this game lacks that punch. Because if you've played the Wii game, you have a roadmap of exactly what this game is going to do. Down to the structure of the worlds and the final boss, for the most part. Bowser's Castle, all this shit. You have a roadmap of what to expect. And I think that is what stops this game from being up there. That's what gatekeeps this game. It is too tied to its own brand. It is too stuck in its own identity and its own art style that it doesn't branch out. And the parts where it does branch out are so cool that the fact that they only happen like 4 or 5 times in this game stings even more. That whole level that looks like a pastel painting, that shit's so cool. That is so cool. And I don't think every level should look like that, but every level, or at least most levels, should stand out like that one did. But they don't. So while it makes that level way more notable, it makes the rest of the game feel like bland. The ghost house backgrounds in this game are all excellent. All of them, especially one with like the haunted shipyard and shit. That's cool, but that's only in like one part of the game. There's no world theme in this game that's new. None of them are new. It's all stuff that this game did better. Everything in this game is here. And the bonus to Mario 3 is it doesn't have a terrible lava world. It has Bowser World, but it's not a lava world. It's got lava in it, in certain levels, but it's not lava themed. And that's what's unfortunate. Even with New Super Luigi U, Sonic Mania is an example of a game that you could maybe make a similar argument for, but then the aesthetics are just unbelievably good. Fucking incredible. That's like one of my favorite games ever made. Like my second, probably. Next to Mario 3, it's that game. I love that game so much. That entire game is just gorgeous. Beautiful game. I could talk about that game for a long time, but that's neither here nor there. But I think this is where I stand, based on having beaten all 11 of these games. I think this is where I stand on them. I think if somebody asked me, where would your cutoff be for games that you would recommend to somebody new to the Mario franchise? I would probably say as far down as Mario 1 or this game. New Super Mario Bros. 1, maybe. I think that's a big maybe because I don't see a reason to play this game over this game. And I think that's bad for this game. That's also why Mario 1's down here. Games I would not recommend people to start with: this one, and this one. Those 3 are the ones that I would say absolutely no. Mario Land 1, no. Mario Land 1 is more of a curiosity to me than it is a game that would get you into the franchise. This is just a port, but I'm going to throw this in here anyways. I'm going to stick it above Mario 1. Because it's just Mario 1 with more shit in it. Mario, that's what I mean. Like, it's not a game I would recommend unless they were curious. Because it's a good kind of curiosity game. Like, it's not going to, like, be awful. You're going to have a okay time with it, but it's mostly a curiosity more than it is a game, I would say. Has stuck out to me. It's a game I'd recommend to check out if you're curious. Like, if you want to know what it's like. Yeah, this is DX, yeah. Mario Deluxe. Which is basically just Mario 1 with a bit of screen crunch. But the level design in Mario 1 doesn't really have an issue with that. And U vs. Boo is fucking awesome. So, gotta respect it. Yoshi's Island isn't a 2D Mario game, sorry. It's a 2D Yoshi game. Super Mario Run is a phone game I have not played enough of, so... I think this is it. So I'm going to recap. And go through all of them again. One last time, short and sweet summary of each one. Mario Bros. 2 Lost Levels. Good game engine, good game improvements like bouncing off of enemies. Everything else about this game sucks fucking ass. The visuals are better on the NES one compared to Mario 1 on the NES. But it fucking sucks. Level design is unbelievably cruel and not fun. Some levels are just puzzles that you'd never be able to solve on your own. Shitloads of invisible blocks above enemies where it should not be. World 7 sucks. There's a level that's just literally blind jumps the entire time. Literally. That's all that level is just bouncing on trampolines and you can't see where you're going. What the fuck? Who thought this was fun? And to top it off, most of these levels, as my last point about this game, came from an arcade game that had a goal of not being easy to beat. Or fair. Because Versus Super Mario Bros. Came before this game, and some of the levels from that were put into Lost Levels. So that should tell you what those levels were like. Terrible. Would not recommend this game at all. This game is like Mario 1, but not fun. Mario 1, but unenjoyable in almost every way. Unenjoyable in almost every single way. Luigi controls like shit, even on the Super Nintendo version. It's not great. There's no two-player mode, because I think they knew you couldn't get a second person to do this with you if you wanted to. That's the justification. Next up, New Super Mario Bros. 2. Boring. That's like literally the worst thing this game, the worst part about this game. It's boring. Boring, just worse than the first game in almost every way, worse than the second game in almost every way, even though it's called 2, it's not the second game. I hate this stupid series. I hate it. No spin move, level design is trivial at best. Coin gimmick is severely undercooked, and not utilized at all. Boss fights are even more boring than the first New Super Mario Bros. Game. They're just the Wii ones, but easier, usually. Still secret worlds, but they're shorter than the other worlds, and also boring. Final boss sucks. What else do I say? 2 songs in this game are good, the rest of the soundtrack is awful. The title theme and the credits song are both excellent, and then the rest of this soundtrack is absolutely painful. That's New Super Mario Bros. 2. Mario Land 1, janky. Very, very janky, weird old Mario game with funny enemies, creatively designed areas, and Easter Island heads that run at you really fast. Boulders are in this game, that's pretty cool. Power-ups are lame, Super Ball sucks, sorry. Physics are weird. Koopa Troopas just fucking explode because they couldn't program the shell kicking in time, that's pretty funny. Goombas look strange in the art. Tatanga's cool, the shooter levels add a nice touch of variety to the game, but the game is too short, the physics are bad, like I said. Controls aren't great, level design can be really sketchy, lots of invisible blocks in spots they should not be in. And it's just way too short. Music's great too. New Super Mario Brothers. This is probably controversial, but this is where I put it. Lots of cool stuff. Lots of new enemies that haven't been in 2D Mario before. Lots of Mario 64 stuff, probably copied from the 64 DS game, but I don't care. It's still cool. Pretty fun soundtrack. I actually like the soundtrack of this game. The castle themes are both great. The overworld and athletic music is catchy and nice. The game's presentation and visuals are really weird. It looks like a really weird half step between what the Wii game would end up being. You've got Mario as a model, but the enemies are sprites that animate really crappy sometimes. But other times they are models. It's weird. The boss fights are all kind of interesting. The mini mushroom completely sucks, and it's everywhere in this game. Why the fuck? 2 worlds are hidden. You need to use the mini mushroom to get to them. That's pretty bad. Bonus points for this game having Luigi playable from the start, because the Wii game didn't let you pick him as player 1, and New Super Mario Bros. 2 didn't let you pick him until you beat the game, which, fuck you. But, yeah, that's New Super Mario Bros. DS. That's my summary on that one. Fun, but no reason to really play it. Mario 1! The cutoff point for what I would recommend. This is the absolute worst Mario game you could play that is still good, if that makes any sense. This game's got basically everything foundationally that makes Mario pretty great, including catchy music, an interesting visual design for the time it came out, and really stellar level design for the most part. The physics are a bit weird in Mario 1, a bit stiff to get used to. They're not as loose and as freeform as later Mario games, so it's kind of a hang-up for a lot of people that play it for the first time. Enemy bouncing is really janky in that it's not even a mechanic. You just kind of pop up off them. There's no variable height to it. There's no way to control how high you bounce. Things feel kind of weird. Not a lot of enemies. The power-up variety is really lacking, but it was the first game, so I'm not going to hold that against it. The Fire Flower is good at what it does, though. Water levels suck. No auto-scrollers in this game. That's pretty cool. Castle mazes, however, can go fuck off. Those suck, too. Those are in Lost Levels as well. Fuck the castle mazes. Those suck. Did I say that enough? I think I said it. Bowser fights are kind of boring. And, that's it. Castle music is bland, too. Overall, though, still pretty enjoyable. Even though it's a bit of a nebulous game. It's a bit of a nebulous game because it's a lot like Mario Land 1 in that I would only recommend it if you're curious, but I also think it's good enough to play on its own. Mario Bros. Deluxe is just copy and paste that, but add You vs. Boo, which is awesome, and the ability to pick Luigi in one-player mode. Oh, and Mario Bros. Deluxe has a lot of fun extras like galleries and fortune cards and all that other shit. It's really neat. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. This game is pretty damn good. I would say it's almost as good as the Wii U game. Good level design, better than the DS game, better controls. The spin mechanic is awesome. Too bad it's tied to motion controls that are mandatory. Boo. Propeller suit is kind of boring, but really fun for the first, 20 seconds, and then you realize it's like a broken flight power-up that doesn't give you the satisfaction the cape did. Penguin suit fucking rules. Why didn't that come back? Ice flower is cool. It's always cool to have a fire flower that's better at dealing with different enemies. But my only gripe with it is that you can't pick up every enemy you freeze, which is lame. I feel like it kind of gets in the way of how fun that power-up can be, but whatever. You can still ground pound it and kill them anyways. So it's a cool way to kill, dry bones when you normally couldn't do that. The world layouts are a bit different than the DS game. And in general, its flow is a little different, and it feels like a decent sequel to it. The music is absolutely awesome in this game. Except for the castle theme, I think that is worse, but every other song is basically better. Yoshi's in this game, that's pretty cool. You can't carry him to other levels, and he's kind of watered down, but it's still nice to see my guy coming back full force from Mario World. Koopa Kids came back, that's neat. Bowser fight is awesome in this game. One of the only escape sequences in a Mario game that's not terrible, because there's not a lot of them. Go figure, that doesn't leave much criterion, but whatever. That is my summary of New Super Mario Bros. Wii. So it's a solid upper B game, probably right below the A tier. Very close, it's a very nebulous spot. It could easily move up on a good day, but I think the motion controls and the weird stuff hold it back a little bit. But still pretty damn good. New Super Mario Bros. U, the only A tier game, the only lower A tier game. I've explained it again, but I guess I'll run through it really fast because this is for VOD purposes. This game is like the other game, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but better. And that's basically it. It's kind of just everything that game was. But in that regard, it's also predictable, sort of boring to like know what's happening next because you know what it's going to do. You know what it's going to do. There's no twists. It's very, very similar in terms of structure. And that can be really disengaging. Even if you're replaying it, you already know. Because it just means there's not a lot of memorable moments to talk about. And I think that's probably the biggest issue with this game. It's, just like that. Oh, you unlocked my emote. With those chat points. Oh, it's always good to see Silver Surfer. Alright, now we're getting into the good shit. The good shit. Mario 2! USA release. This game owns! This game is really fun. Really cool levels. Really interesting enemies they added to this game. Really good character balance among 4 playable characters that all significantly change how you approach every scenario in the game. Music is awesome. I love the overworld theme in this game. It's so catchy. Maybe the catchiest overworld theme in Mario history. Definitely a contender for it. Introduced a lot of characters that are central Mario characters now. Shy Guys came from this game. Birdo. Bombs. Luigi's really high jump would be a carryover from this game. And also Lost Levels in Japan. Hello, Dino. That is true. That's not on this list, but that is true. How you doing, dude? You're in bed? Thank you for coming out. I'm just doing the Mario tier list for all the games I played. God help me. I'm posting this on Twitter. Maybe I'll do like little write-ups for each game. Oh yeah, Wart! Wart showed up in Link's Awakening! That's fucking cool! Yeah! Mario 2 is great. Play Mario 2. That's a game that I would say is absolutely worth playing. Mario Land 2. That's the next one. This game also owns. This game is really cool. Tons of interesting level variety. Great presentation. Excellent level design. Really, really, really unique game. Wario! I forgot to mention, Wario came from this game. How can this game be bad? It had Wario in it. First game he was in. And Wario fucking rules. Wario Land because of this game. That happened because of this game. I'm getting enthusiastic. Really pumped. I like talking about games that I really, really like. Mario Land 2 is one of those games. I own this game physically. I am so proud that I own this game as a cartridge. And I've owned it for like probably a decade. What a good game. Oh, beautiful game. The color patch board is absolutely wonderful. Not related to the actual quality of the game, but it's up there for posterity points because I played on the color patch. Controls are great. Music is unbelievably catchy in this game. This game's got like that Mario Land 1 sort of thing going on where the music sticks in your head and like the same like 3 or 4 songs are there the entire game, but they're so good you don't care. They're just there. And they're amazing. They're excellent. They're stupendous. Yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, and it's non-linear. That's pretty cool too. You can do any world in any order you want. And there's no limitations on what you can find or get in that world. And that's really cool. I think that's something that none of these other games have done. And that's something that this game has that is super unique to it. And the bunny ears are cute. And pretty broken, but very cute. And the spin jump is in it. For Mario World. Mario World, this game kicks ass. What can I say? Mario World, probably of all the games on this list, has the best controls. Even though I like Mario 3 more, I think Mario World has the best game feel of all these games. The physics are just right. Spin jumping is absolutely awesome. It's a cool way to deal with different kinds of enemies, like spiked enemies and whatnot. And it lets you get really, really, really creative with, like, just how you approach scenarios in this game. You can keep a game flow going in this game so easily with not just the cape, but the spin jump. Because that lets you deal with a lot of hazards that you could not deal with before in creative ways, and it rewards very on-your-feet thinking in a way all these other Mario games don't. The Cape Feather is super awesome and really fun. Yoshi came from this game, which I can't believe I didn't mention the first time, but he's on the cover. The music is extremely catchy. The Koopa Kids came from, well, Mario 3, but they're all pretty interesting in this game. Valley of Bowser is cool. The way the worlds all connect through secret exits is awesome. And most importantly, the level design that is here for the most part is extremely solid. There's like 2 levels in this game that I don't like, and one of them is just because it's really hard. And that's Tubular. And the other one is Valley of Bowser 2 because that level's just way too slow. But 2 levels out of the, what, 80 or so in the game? Like, at least 75 stages, right? Hold on. We're gonna count. We're gonna count all the levels. I think they give me a total. 73 levels. 73 levels, and 2 of them are, like, levels I don't like. That's, like... I don't know how to do the math for that, but I'm pretty sure that's less than, like, 5% of the game. What else do I gotta say? Ghost Houses did come from this game, though. Ghost Houses did come from this. So I have to... I don't like Ghost Houses, but this game's Ghost Houses are alright. They're okay. And Forest Evolution can buck off too, kind of. I don't like that one level that gives you motion sickness. That's not cool. That one's not great. But overall, great game. Absolutely excellent. Mario 3! The best one. The absolute best one. This game has everything you'd want in a Mario game. Great level design. Great controls, though not as good as Mario World. Does not have the spin jump. I have to mention that. Tons of power-ups. This game probably has the most power-ups out of any game on this list. You've got the Fire Flower, you've got the Frog Suit, you've got the Hammer Suit, you've got the Raccoon Leaf, you've got the Tanuki. The P-Wing, which I'll count. Why not? That's like 6. And they're all different. 8 worlds in this game. And this is before world themes in Mario were even a thing. This game did that. Yeah, 7. The shoe. You're right. 7. That's 7 unique power-ups that all do very different things, and like 2 of them change how you fundamentally control. That's a big deal for an NES game in like the late 80s, because that was when it came out in Japan, 88. Damn. World maps that are pretty big and expansive and have really catchy music. Hammer Brothers not being absolutely insufferable in this game, that's pretty cool. Toad Houses. The level design, as I said, extremely stellar. The levels in this game are very short, but they reward your secret hunting very well. Like, if you like looking for secret shit, this game will reward you in spades. Flying in a random spot might just net you a bunch of coins and like a 1-up and some nifty stuff. And every level does something different. Slightly different. There's always something new in each level, and it never overstays its welcome. The warp whistles is super cool. The fact that you can just go right to World 8, boom, boom, like that, if you know the game well, that's awesome. The boss fights in this game are good, even though they're pretty basic. For the time they came out, pretty crazy. Lots of new enemies in this game. Stuff from Mario 2 would show up here, like the bombs and all that, but then you got Boos, Chain Chomps, Boomerang Brothers, Fire Brothers, Big Hammer Brothers. Giant World is in this game. That world's fucking cool. Who doesn't love Giant World? That shit slaps. Ice World's got good music. List goes on. Mario 3. Absolutely goated game. Not even a question. Not even a question. Absolutely goated. What more can I say? And that is the entire 2D Mario tier list. God help my throat. I have not taken a single drink of water after doing all of that. I think I'm going to take a big swig right now because I'm really feeling it. Holy crap. I'm going to get me some water. I'll be right back.